a dynamic leader whose leadership is not about titles, positions, or flowcharts. It is about one life influencing another. Yes, he is none other than our Honorable Principal Sir Dr. S. Anthony Raj. We welcome you, sir. I extend my heartiest welcome to a diligent persona whose actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more. None other than our Honorable Vice Principal, Ma'am, Mrs. Preeti Singhal. We welcome you, ma'am. I take this pleasure to welcome the Head of Administration, enthusiastic Mr. Nakshatra Patel. It's my pleasure to welcome the multi-talented team of RFS level coordinators who always talk about developing a winning attitude. Think of mindfulness as an innate superpower. It's like having metacognition, which means you have a heightened awareness of what you are thinking in the moment, as well as a heightened awareness of your understanding of what you are thinking and why, says Nora Nudged. Too often, we teach students what to think, but not how to think. It's time to now focus on to teach children how to think instead of what to think. To present this thought in a lucid way, we have amongst us a vivacious persona. She is a middle school coordinator at Pathway School, Noida. In her journey of 27 years of teaching, she has been investing her time and effort in upskilling herself first, then planning to achieve the same in her sphere of influence. She has an experience of training and leading, enabling teachers and students to have their own voice in the process, providing professional learning and instructional design support to schools across the country. My heartiest welcome to a Tech SDG ambassador, deeply passionate about students' role in the fulfillment of the global goals, the vivacious persona, Miss Aparajita Ralli. We welcome you then. The ball is set rolling, ma'am. Over to you. Ma'am, you are not audible. May I request you to check your audibility? Yeah. Thank you.
Am I on? All right. Thank you so much, Jasmine, for the kind words. I don't think, I don't know if I do justice to them or not. Time will tell. I would like to begin with saying thank you so much, Dr. Anthony Raj, for having me over. Thank you, Vidya, for seeking me out and getting me this beautiful opportunity of interacting with such motivated people who on a Saturday may have just had a quick lunch and then been here. Nothing to do with the certification, I'm sure. So, but yeah, so it does take a lot from teachers to get on to making the children that we want them to. I am thinking, and I'm going to take just about 30 seconds to think, and I would request each one of you to take those 30 seconds to think internally on what am I feeling right now. And then we can have few sharings. I will not invite all 75 to share, but yes, few sharings over a period of time. And I would love my session to be interactive. If that's a possibility, the more the interaction, the better the learning. So it is up to us where we take the sessions and what directions we put it at. So 30 seconds, your time starts now. What am I feeling right now? What is it that's going on inside my head?
Let me begin, ma'am. Excited.
I'm sorry, Vidya, you said?
I said I'm excited.
Okay. All right. Anybody else?
I feel like it's virtual. You might be thinking that hope all are listening to me
Yeah,
attentively, and my session I can grab their attention strongly. Yeah, that could be your thought process. I wanted to make
sure.
it the best learning
Absolutely.
process.
Absolutely. And what is your thought then now?
Yes, of course, looking forward
May
for the
I
same.
actually, ma'am?
Sure. All right. Anyone else?
We had a wonderful session with Mustafa sir today, ma'am. So,
Okay.
it is a great day going on, and we are really hope that it is going to be continue in your with your session also, ma'am. So, what next we are going to learn from you, ma'am?
Okay, so that's another thought. Great. Anything else? So that puts me in a spot actually. I am nervous now. So my feeling is nervousness and nervous anxiety because, A, when you're facing an audience, you always need to be, where they expect you to be, firstly. And secondly, I am not absolutely comfortable with my teams, but yeah, I'll try. Anyone else before we move on?
Eager.
Eager, okay. So when you
May
are
I, ma'am?
idle, absolutely, please, that the more the merrier.
I'm really very happy today, ma'am, to be a part of this beautiful organization where they care so much for professionals and teachers, ma'am.
Yeah, I would too. I would be thrilled, in fact, to be part of such organizations where teachers learn, unlearn, and relearn. So it's beautiful to be here. Anyone else, or should we move on? Okay, we will move on. So who am I? I am, please continue to tell me if you can continue seeing my screen. As I said, I'm a little new to Teams, not so new, but yeah, generally. So I get a little worried if people can't see my screens. So please feel free to tick me when you can't. So I am
Uh,
Aprajita.
yeah, ma'am. That's the Facebook page up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So who am I? I am a Prajita Rally. As Jasmine has said so many things, but one of the things that I would like to talk about myself is that I'm a learner and I never stop learning. And I know what I want and I know what am I feeling at all times, at every time. There is never a time that I miss that touch with myself. So which is what we talk about metacognition. When I know who I am, when I know what I am doing, when I know what I am transacting to my children in classes, that's exactly what metacognition is about. So when you said that you're anxious, you're happy, you're excited, looking forward, you are being metacognitive in that sense. The trick is, how do we get our students to be metacognitive so that their learning is enhanced, their grades are increased? It's actually not about grades always, but to a large extent it is also. In any case, it's better for the student well-being by and large, if I were to say that if I were to focus on who am I and what am I getting to class. And as was mentioned, I like to first train myself before I train anyone. I am, as I said, continuously thinking on how I can improve upon myself. Uh, One thing that I don't know how you all operate, but one thing that works very well for me is being on the social media platforms where I learn a lot. My complete learning experience for the past 5 years, in fact, has been on the social media platforms wherein I've interacted and engaged with so many teachers at so many different levels. And I'm just sharing you these, different websites that I've been on and I maintain, just so that I heard Dr. Anthony Raj say portfolios, e-portfolio, our own portfolios. So these are my portfolios, which are not only restricting me to the school, but a little outside the school. So I am at metacognition, and that's how I function best. How do you function best is something that we will learn today. And I think that the way we have started already is with a very interactive session, which is what I am looking at. So as has been said, I apply whatever I learn into my classes. Again, bringing the metacognitive bit into the space of, or the realm or the domain of teaching and learning, which is what we must do given the circumstances that we have been in the current scenario of the pandemic. 2 years down the line, our children have been resilient. They have just understood the aspect of failure. They've understood what is being at home, being locked in, and also struggling with what they want. So the connections that they need to build is a lot with their own agency, their own voice, their own autonomy in teaching and learning, which, as I said earlier, will lead to their well-being, not only marks. And if their marks are good, if they're, if they own their learning, if they see their own potential, definitely the children, the parents, the school, we're building a happy culture. We're moving towards a good working environment for all. Which is where, again, the heart of everything is metacognition. So what are we doing today? We are basically going to be reflecting on our own processes. I believe that each one of us in all schools, whether small, big, well-known, wherever, whichever part of the world or the country that we are in, each and every school and each and every teacher is given their 100%, more than 100% in the past 2 years. Even before that, the teachers are the dedicated lot. But what has been happening these past 2 years has been where there's been a paradigm shift. The teachers have been tested no end. So what this session will do for us is to get from all of you what you think is a collective understanding of metacognition. As a school, how do you think that you can process those systems to develop the metacognitive skills with the teachers and the students? It's very important for teachers to be learning these themselves, to be understanding how I teach best. Not just understand how I differentiate best or what works well for my student, but importantly to understand what works well for me and my section. So probably for section A, this is working best. I should not, or I might not apply the same for the other group of students because they are a different set of learners. They have a different way of approaching things. So I will understand that, reflect on my own practices, bring about a new teaching and learning process. And please remember, you will hear me say this often, teaching and learning process. I will never say teaching because, as I said, lifelong learning is part of teaching always. And we all do that. So there's nothing very new that you're going to learn or exchange. But we're just going to dig deep and bring out what we share best. The standard practices of sharing is another something that makes a student an independent learner, makes a teacher confident in what they are doing, makes the system aware of what you are doing as a teacher, and gives the confidence in your leaders to entrust the children totally onto you. The next layer is that all stakeholders, including the parents, when they are informed, this is what we are doing best, this is how we have evolved, this worked and this did not work. To my mind, again, it's system to system, it's leadership to leadership. As a leader, to me, it's okay to say this did not work. And therefore, we are seeking feedback from you and we will together move forward. Bringing parents onto the same page as you and as a child is one of the greatest strengths for a metacognitive process. And if I may stop here and ask, what is it that you all do? I'll just stop sharing for just about 2 minutes, and you may tell me what is it that you all do in terms of bringing in parental support in the school as a metacognitive process only. And if there is something that you all don't do, or if you feel that we tell the parents and there is no two-way process, that's also perfectly fine. I just need to understand how you all work as a school. Anybody?
Ma'am, we have a parent-teacher meeting
Okay.
before we commence our session. Like we had our parent teacher. This is the way we interact with all the parents individually, ma'am. This
Okay.
time, because of the corona, we had it on the MST platform only. But
Yeah.
it is all the, we give them the general instructions and everything, and we have a question answer session also with them if they have any query, or if they want to ask about the academics or co-curricular activities, ma'am.
So is there any policy or anything that has changed because of parental requirement? Is there
Yes,
anything?
we have special educators now who
Okay.
guide the parents, teachers
Okay,
regarding the
that's lovely.
problems of the student and
Okay.
guide how to deal with them.
Okay. That's very nice. That's very progressive. Because some things you are attending to the need of the community, which is where we are existing in that community, and to understand that this is the need of the community is also a very big metacognitive practice. All right. So the new education policy that has come in, how has that impacted your learning and teaching processes? Would anyone want to share? I'm so sorry, but my style of working is only collaborative. That's how I bring out everyone to think and communicate. So I would request people to please, contribute. So how have you focused on the NEP, or are you looking towards it, or are you in the process of it? How is it being transacted in your systems?
I think, ma'am, we are in the process. We are
Okay.
progressing. We
Okay.
have had a lot of teachers are well aware and they are oriented with a lot of
Okay.
resource person and a lot of capacity building programs. So teachers
Exactly.
are all set. And because of the pandemic, I think we are restricted to the online platform,
Okay.
where we couldn't probably extract so much from the children. But anyways, we have whatever we could do on the online platform. We have been
Sure.
doing it very positive on a very positive note.
All right.
And
I'm sure. I'm sure.
yeah, few of
And
us have even taken it to a community level also
Okay.
by taking up. I think if Shimla ma'am, can you please come in? If you could.
See, I am not nobody to ask you all this. It is just a sharing because I believe that one can sort of inject very small changes when we are talking about student learning getting enhanced and how to involve parents into the process of student learning. When we are going to be building those very important skills that the NEP is talking about, you as teachers get the students, let's say for 8 hours, 9 hours, 7 hours, whatever that you do, they go back home. So if we are able to bring that community or that stakeholder in the system, uh, take it from me, and I've seen it work. I've experimented with this. We worked it in schools. It does wonders to uplift the school performance and the teacher motivation, the student learning. This is all a complete metacognitive process that goes on. But of course, it's up to how you as a school take it up and what you're doing. I'm sure there's wonderful things that I can see that are happening. The whole idea of learn, relearn, and unlearn itself says that there is a metacognitive approach to the whole process of teaching and learning in your system. So I'll just go back to my sharing. Thank you. Okay. I am doing the same things again that I've been told not to do, to share the voice, and I forget to do that. Okay, here. You should be able to see this. Please watch it for a little while. I would request people to just take notes or mental notes of what they think they are gathering from here, because then we will go back to our discussion from here.
To grow up.
I've always wondered why they're called worksheets. That's just terrible branding. I mean, if people want kids to get excited about learning, why not call them Happy Fun Time Sheets?
I'll bring it up at the next faculty meeting.
You seem quite pleased, Miss Reyes.
I am. I may be wrong, but it does appear as though they kind of understand the material.
That depends how you define understand.
Ugh. That's the last time I take a nap on a number 2 pencil.
Perhaps I'm a bit old school, Gummerson, but identifying the phases of the moon from just a picture looks like understanding to me.
Well, that's one kind of understanding for sure. Knowing definitions, concepts, or say what the name of a moon phase is called is declarative knowledge. Meanwhile, knowing how to do something like operate a car or perform a task is considered procedural knowledge. Pardon me. And understanding the interrelationships between definitions, concepts, and facts is conceptual knowledge. That's the level where students are able to be creative about this new knowledge, think about it in new ways, and apply it to new situations.
That last one, that's why I teach. I'm not trying to create the ultimate Jeopardy contestant, spewing trivia answers like some robot. I want them to grow up and be independent thinkers. Call me an idealist, but I envision each of my students becoming capable thinkers and creative problem solvers who will flourish in any career or path that they pursue. I'm just not sure how to get there.
When the path seems uncertain, do what the pros do. Head to the internet.
Thank you for stopping by Teach Gooder, the one place on the internet where you can be guaranteed to learn about learning. Introducing our hosts, Ms. King, our brilliant resident science teacher, and Stickleton, our very knowledgeable and dapper stick of chewing gum. Today's topic is getting meta.
Getting meta is all about getting metacognitive. That means employing metacognitive strategies that can help students acquire, retain, and transfer new content.
That's easy to say, but getting meta is tricky business. It takes time, effort, practice, and an awareness of the need.
I'm glad you brought up awareness. I used to be one of those teachers that didn't really think about the need to get meta. My lessons were packed with a range of activities, and I gave tons of feedback on all types of assessments. Problem was, most of my students really struggled with applying the learned material to new circumstances or hanging on to it for extended periods of time. They seemed to be getting it, but they really weren't. I have an eerie feeling like someone's been spying on my classroom.
So, how can you get there? Well, that brings us to our title, Getting Meta. You see, studies have shown that giving students practice with metacognitive strategies can improve how well they transfer knowledge to new contexts and how long it sticks around in their noggins.
Metacognition is a path to understanding. I thought metacognition was merely thinking about your thinking. Pure navel-gazing.
Poppycock. That way of thinking is antiquated.
Says the guy who just exclaimed poppycock.
Okay. So there is something that came up in terms of what we think is metacognition, and there might be some kind of understanding that you all already do have, and which is where I am taking you now. If you can just give me 30 seconds, I'll just share the screen again. Okay, so where are we at? We are at understanding how our brain functions, what is it that we need to internalize, and how we need to apply it to further student engagement. So mark these words: deeper learning, student engagement, student agency, and metacognition, obviously, in the whole learning teaching process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just give you this Menti. Are you all comfortable with the Mentimeter? So please log in to menti.com, and this is your passcode 4289837. Menti.com, and use this code 4280 here. It's highlighted if you can see that. 4280 98 and 37. Just put down what you understand by metacognition, something that you've seen now, something that you believed earlier. You can just put it down there. You would see probably 3 options. You can just pen them down there. If anyone's having any difficulty with this, please do let me know. You need to go to menti.com and use the code that is there. And if some people have started typing, it'll be of great help if you can say yes or a thumbs up or something, so I can start showing what is going on then. Has anyone started typing already?
Yes, ma'am. Maybe they'll take a little time. If you could repeat the code.
42 4280 9837. Is it visible here on top?
Ma'am, I've typed the code and I'm in the page. Yeah. Menti.com. Yeah. Mentimeter. Yes, I can see the Mentimeter.
So what do you understand by metacognition is the question that you should get.
Okay. Let's just check.
Yeah, I can see people. Okay, I should show you how this is looking, and we know as a collective team, what are we defining as metacognition? I will just show that to you. Here you go. People are typing in, and it's nice to see that the typing is going on. Very good. Yeah. So you see words like what we are knowing, activating schemas, thinking about thinking, tools to understand, self-awareness, planning, develop thinking. What's coming out largely is thinking. So it means that metacognition is quite an internal process where there is the mind, there is the heart, and there is what we know from the environment, what is relevant from the environment. Thinking getting bigger, which means most people are talking about the word thinking. I see something referring to awareness and psychology, growth mindset. Again, something very, very important because till you develop a thought wherein, so growth mindset and thinking coming in, internal awareness coming in, reflecting should be another word that, yeah, refreshing. Okay, that's nice. Yeah, that's a good one. So reset your programming to refresh into the metacognitive vision. That's another good word. Self-regulation, very good. Excellent. So as I said, there's nothing wide thinking process. There's nothing new that I'm going to be taking you through. It's just what you already know. We are just brushing it up again so that you bring it to the fore of your head. You think in a metacognitive manner. You are absolutely aware of where you're taking your children through at the beginning of a new session. Internal awareness, thought. Some very, very good words coming up. Broader application based. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Transferring. All right. That's lovely. Okay. I'll just give 30 more seconds and we'll move back to where we have to. It's very nice to see a lot of, thinking is going on. So it's about the process. It's owning the process. We are seeing the word mind come up now. And that seems to be, again, one of the spaces where we talk about, the whole activation of metacognition, the internalizing of my journey as a teacher, as a learner. What I do best. How do I know what I do best? Autonomy of learners, again, fantastic. How I function. Exactly, how do I function? What is it that I do best? And that I can use, that knowledge of what I do best, I can use to benefit myself, my growth, progress. And as I said, it's not about academics only. It's about my complete development as a child, as a student, as a teacher, as an institution, as a leader. Each one of us is a leader in our own class, in our own setup, in our own, coordinators group, in our own, what I heard you all say, CPD group. So everybody is a leader. The teacher is a leader in her own right to be able to take on the subject, the content through. And I believe that the student should own the content and not the teacher. We are not custodians of knowledge. Because given the world that we live in, everything is so available on the internet. How are we then empowering our students or enabling, another word that I just love, enabling my student to own that learning, to develop that wonderful word that somebody's put down, growth mindset. How do I get my student to be that aware thinker? To be self-aware, to internalize their own learning, to own their learning process. To understand that today I don't feel like learning. I do know it is important for me to learn. So I'm self-cognizant of what is relevant for me. But today I'm aware of my sentiments. I'm aware of my circumstances. I'm aware of my drawbacks. And therefore, I strategize in a way that I let my teacher know, let my parent know, let my community know that I need help, that I'm not comfortable today. And that will help me, put me in a space where I am going to be setting my own targets and learning, owning my learning process, which is the ultimate goal for any teacher, any institution, any organization. Because at the end of the day, people, we are here for only the children. It's that one child that matters. And no child must get left behind. And I believe strongly that metacognition is the only way to take every child together with us. So a lot of gyan there, but I think it is all applied gyan. This is all something that I've applied in my teaching and learning processes. I'll go back to the presentation and sorry. Okay. There is, oh, sorry, just sorry for the delay. Yeah. What I'm going to show you next is something that you all have, as a teacher, we do function only on that premise. the learning ladder. We've seen it so many times. We've seen the left brain and the right brain. We as teachers, when we are trained, we are taught this basically, and this applies across the board for a primary school teacher, for a senior school teacher, for a middle school teacher, for a leader. The learning ladder can be at any stage of my learning curve. For me to understand how this child will function well, even if it's a maths exam tomorrow and the child is not in that spatial space with me, how do I bring that child in? I need to understand that child. You might turn around and tell me, oh, but we have 50 people in our class, 40 students in our class. That's the next question I would have asked you. How many students in your section or in your group do you get to teach? Is it a big class or is it a manageable small group? That's one question I'd like answered so that we can go into specifics later.
25 to 30, ma'am.
Which is a manageable number, I would say, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
So if you were to do a collaborative work with this 25 to 30 group number, how do you go about it? What is your strategy to look at a collaboration with this number, if anybody can just share? Would you do it just random picking up children, or would you do it with their abilities to learn or their learning styles? What works best for you as a leader in your classes? If anyone can just share any example.
I think I personally try all of them. Sometimes a random grouping just to bring children out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
And then times put them according to their interest, sometimes according to their choice. So it's a mixture of all of them, trying out all the elements to see which works best as a collaborative initiative.
Absolutely. I would agree with that largely. So you see what kind of activity that is. Is it a, what kind of requirement your class has at that point in time, and then you move forward. That's something even I would agree with. So here is what we are looking at. A teacher will fix up strategies, as we just heard, will make connections between the classes and also try and understand how a student learns best, will use very many visualizing, aids, will ask the right questions, will infer based on the answers that they get. What is it that the student learns best with? There are times we are not superhumans. There are times that we might miss that one odd child here or there. So we determine the importance of which child to be paid attention to. Did I miss out on this particular thing? It seems like a whole lot of synthesizing to do. It seems like a lot of schemas to put together. It seems like, a teacher's cap is a crazy cap to wear. But I am going to enable you. I am going to tell you here that what if you tell your students that what you have done today or what I've taught to you, look at it just in the last 2 minutes. Look at it in the sense of, does it make sense? What do I do if it doesn't make sense? Who do I go to? Do I understand what I'm reading, learning, writing? Or even, for instance, sometimes you might be showing them something. What do I do if I don't understand it? If your student were to start owning that, if now there is another little discussion, and I'm sorry, but I would urge you to be part of this one, is that how many of you believe that a teacher must share the learning objectives with the student? Would you say yes, or would you say no to the learning objective? That, so I write down my learning objective when I walk into a class, and I write down SWAT. Students will be able to. I've had many teachers come up and tell me, why would you want the children to know this? Where is the need for the students to know this? They don't need to understand this. That's for a teacher to know, not for the children. So which is where I keep, when I'm training, I always ask teachers to explain what they do best in their classes. And explain means give me a reason why they believe that it should be or it should not be done. So I'll just wait for another maybe 1.5 minutes so that we can finish this discussion and move on to the next bit.
I think
I
yes.
think I
Should, yes. I'm sorry, Vidya ma'am. Please continue.
No, absolutely, Dharti ma'am. I was just trying to say, Prachita ma'am, are you able to access the chat box? I think many responses could come in if we can ask the teachers to put the responses
I'm
in the chat
happy
box.
if, yeah, sure. That's a good idea
Yeah.
too.
So,
Thank
if I think if you could put down your responses in the chat box. Yeah, go on, Dharti ma'am, please.
Thank you. Yes, I feel they should know because they also should be able to gauge the journey if they have reached the destination or still they are on the path. So yes, I believe that they also should know the objectives.
So Dharti, thank you so much for sharing that. Now I would want you to tell me whether you do that at a every lesson to lesson basis or at the beginning of any unit or something. What would you prefer?
I'm sorry, but I don't do it on a regular basis. I miss out sometimes. But yes, I make it a point to ask them at the end of the chapter that could you now tell me what does this mean? You know, do you think whatever has been or what the function of this particular person or the suppose it was a industrial revolution, so do you think it was just enough, or why Britain first and why not in India, something like that, you know?
Okay, so Dharti, what you just did was two things and two very brilliant things. Please let me tell you that. One thing that you did brilliantly was reflected on your own practice and say, I don't do it very regularly. That just sets you out as a very good learner. And the second thing that you said that at the end of the unit you do recap. So a child might get overwhelmed that at the end of every lesson we've had to reflect or we have to tell where we are going and where have we reached and things. The learning outcome must be at the end of the unit or a mid unit. A mid unit is still okay, but every lesson you would be boring the child to death. The child will definitely not like your classes anymore. So well done, Dharti. Thank you so much. Does anyone want to share? I have just about half a minute more for one more sharing and then I can move on. Bring it on, people. I know it's a Saturday, but we need to all wake up.
Yes, ma'am. I think if you could come back to the question
I
once
wish to
again, ma'am.
speak. Vidya, am I audible?
Absolutely,
Yes,
ma'am. Please go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Since I try to share, but not always, of course. But if I'm there at a tight spot, it can be anything, time restriction or anything. But I try to share that because my students are the grown-up students, so they should know, and they themselves should tell that if I have reached the goal or not. So that is why I try. I feel that it should be told to them.
So it's never about, thank you so much. It's never about, it's never about how your class went. It's never about that. Please remember that. It's always about what the student has learned in the lesson or in those 40 minutes or that 50 minutes. It's not about you. You will go prepared. You have been trained to be so. But if your student has not been able to engage, then you need to reflect. What happened? Why was there a disconnect? Why were there only, like now I am reflecting. Okay, so how do I, that's why Vidya brought in her bit. Okay, let's not wait for only verbal responses. People do respond in the chat and my reflection quickly is, okay, let's get on with that one. So instantly I am getting metacognitive that, okay, this is not the space. This is not how this one works. Maybe we should try that. It's always about what works best in your given scenario. Which is what, so, I've seen a lot of teachers hammer themselves out that there's something wrong, there's something this and something. It's never about us. We are doing a lot of good. And if we are not, we jolly well leave and just walk away from the profession. We are here because we have to give more than 100%. Otherwise, we are not a teacher. And that I believe so strongly in from the bottom of my heart. So each one of you needs to be lauded for all the work that you're doing. All right. But if the system, the thing, your system means in your class, it's still not working. If each of my children are not with me, then I need to go into this process of metacognition, not only for myself, but them also. They also need to know what is going wrong for them. So don't hammer yourself, hammer the planning. That's all. Again, the pressure is hugely on the teacher, hugely on the teacher. I'm sure that we do realize that if I have to do this where every student is with me, there is no tail end. Yeah, there are only middle rangers and the top rangers. I don't leave anyone behind. That needs a lot of planning from my side. And so that's when I said, when you go into a class, if you're going unplanned, then please leave. You need to be totally planned so that there is no tail end for you at all. And if there is, metacognition is the only way out. Okay. So I'll take you further. What it does, and I'm sure we all know that because we've been following this for years and years as teachers, it changes the fixed versus it takes us through a growth mindset. It motivates the students and the effort that you are putting in with the students. As I said earlier, it will increase student learnership or ownership. And obviously, if a student is owning what they know they are proud of what they've learned, there will be a positive approach in their learning. If there is a positive approach in their learning, impact will be definitely felt only on their academic performance, their behavioral performance. So it's whole a vicious cycle which we need to acknowledge and we need to accept. What goes on in the child's brain may be multiple things working at the same time. What you need to do is bring the focus onto that one car on the road. That car is your journey. That car is the child's journey. As a teacher, you need to bring that focus on. So again, what you need to do is you need to put yourself, and it's a little different from what I said earlier, you need to put yourself in the shoes of your student and say what strategy of any teacher is working well for you. It's not what you are thinking as a teacher, but you are thinking as a student. And let's say, what is Miss Dharti's working well with me? What is she doing that is working well with me? What is Miss Vidya doing that is working well with me? What is Miss Jasmine doing that is working well with me? So as a student, what do you think your students like most about your session? And please feel free to put it in the chat so that we can quickly move on instead of just depending heavily on technology. You have 30 seconds and then that's it. Vidya, can you please help me with the chat? I am not able to see it in my drop down menu for some reason. It should be there though.
Yes, ma'am. I guess there's a technical glitch there. For many, the chat is not appearing, I guess. So I guess
Okay.
then I request everybody to please unmute and give your answer, please.
Yeah, please. Then
I
that'll
just
be.
got the message. Yeah.
What works well for you as a student? What is the one strategy that will work very well for you as a student? You can give me subject specific also. I'm good with that, because what will that do is, in your 75, 80 people that are here, we will all be able to hear each other, and the kind of learning that we do from our PLN, we don't do from anywhere else, because you know your school environment, you know the culture, and the sharing becomes more authentic. So please go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. If I can, may I, ma'am?
Yeah, of course, please do. Thank you.
Ma'am, I'm a science teacher, ma'am. I take science and EVS. So basically, sir, ma'am, when I start my chapter, I don't directly start like we are going to learn this. Always we start our chapter. If I talk about the whole science department, ma'am, basically primary teachers, we start our chapters with a project or an activity. If they are going to learn, ma'am, about the plants, so we visit our garden or we visit a school garden, like that. If we are going to make them learn the types of our trees, so climbers are there, creepers are there. In our school premises also the garden is there. So it is a direct learning before they learn the actual what is written in the textbook. It is
Good.
about the
Great. Yeah.
particular chapter. And if
Yeah.
we talk about the functions of a trees, or functions of a plant, like what are the functions of root, what are the functions of, so when which type of plant parts that we eat, so we ask them to bring different kinds of the parts of plant they eat, like flower and the potato is a stem, flower is a flower that we eat. So basically we give them the particular project or the activity, by which about discussing that, after showing them, then we actually enter in the textbook lines, like this is what we are going to learn in detail now.
Great. So this is a good hooking activity. If I were to tell you to look at it in a metacognitive way, and I'm not saying you're not doing the right thing, but I'm giving you a different approach only, which is what I'm here to just trigger your thought process a little. So if I may, if I have the permission to, Vinal.
Yes, ma'am. Sure, ma'am. Please,
Okay.
ma'am.
So I'm just triggering a thought. It's up to you. If you were to take the child and if you were to tell the child that imagine you are a tree, imagine you are the root, imagine you are that rock, imagine you are that soil, and then think about it, and then get reflective on how the environment is, on what is the role of the tree, what is the role of the soil, what is the role of the oxygen, what is the role of the water, where are you seeping water, if you're the root, what is happening. So different kids in your class get different roles assigned, and then they all bring it together and they share it in some place where they want to pin it up, or they just want to discuss or whatever. Or if you want to use any kind of a board, which can be a display board, your continuous learning is showing to the complete grade. All your children are seeing what they are learning individually, instead of just you checking their work, which was your hook in. So after your hook in, which I really like, that you take them outdoor, you assign them roles, and then you bring them and you put it up on a wall outside. Or why I'm saying outside is because everybody else also gets to see. So that is metacognition. That's the only difference. You're doing exactly the perfect way to introduce, but what I've told you is to take it a little deeper, where the child will internalize. And I'm not saying you're not doing that already. I'm sure you're doing that in some different way, some way or the other. People are doing things. But this was just a thought. Anyone else wants to share?
Yes, excuse me, ma'am. May I?
Yes, please, of course.
Uh, Yeah. Actually, being an English teacher, usually we always children love discussion. At times, what happens depends upon our class, which period we have. We see them in a very gloomy mood. So, first thing that what we do as we enter the class, I just observe them. If they are there in that gloomy mood or something, I pretty very well know that okay, they might not be interested. They'll find it boring. So what I do, I pick up any point which is there, in the which is based on the chapter. But I in 10th, I know that okay, one of the sections they love debate, anything. That you just want debate, and they will just most of them will just come out with that. So I use that strategy. Whereas other class, other section, they love to listen to the story or something. So at times, then how do every time it is because they are grown up, every time to narrate the story is not feasible. So what I do is that I pick up the same situation which is there in the chapter, and then I ask them, suppose you were there, what you correlate it with that experiential learning kind of. So that matters, that helps me. So that
Yeah.
is the strategy most of the time I do.
Right, perfect. Uh, that strategy is fantastic. It's just what one would want. If there is also a little bit of thing, and again, I may take your permission to share this, is that if you were to have a display board,
Yeah.
it could, so, my thing is that if a child is speaking, it's over and out. Why do we record our sessions? Why? So that we can go back to it.
Sure.
And that is the metacognition of it.
Sure.
So that one is seeing it, and if it is visual, some student would want it visually done, some would want it graphically done, some would want it written, somebody, so if they have it written there, and again the metacognition element would get little more further enhanced there. Thank you for
Yeah.
your sharing.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
saw
Thank
another
you.
hand up, and then I will move on to the next bit.
Hello, ma'am. Good afternoon. This is
Hi.
Rajrupa.
Hi.
Yes, metacognition is something which is applicable in language learning, and it's very much it takes place through storytelling, and also at times you see I go for a picture dictation, which works very well with the middle section, like the sixth standard, and they end up relating, like if I am doing prepositions per se, and I tell them, I just give them a dictation of a room, right? And so they get it so well. Like a very simple example, like there is your cat is under the table, so they take a lot of initiative, they will draw the table and the cat under the table. In this manner, I think that somewhere they're internalizing what prepositions really are. They are able to see, visualize, actually. So this is one example. And definitely storytelling, I found it very much working whilst during this pandemic situation, where I could give them situations and they could relate, and a lot of videos, right? When you play the videos, I think they relate so well, especially while I was doing this chapter on a bear. And I just played this video on how we really need to understand from that perspective of that animal. It's not always, you see, we as human beings, we think ourselves superior, right? And this video was on how we cannot get what the animal is thinking, and we are just afraid of any animal per se, and we try to harm that animal instead of understanding and we being careful. It worked very well. In a somewhere, I think metacognition has got something to do with higher thinking and also empathy, when I talk of empathy. So this is how they internalize certain deep thinking. We need deep thinkers, right? In the society. So this is how we can actually bring in. So I wanted to share this.
Thank you so much. I would take it a little step further, and I'm again, don't think, please, all of you, I am not running anyone down. It's just a suggestion because I'm here to suggest, that's all. If you were to have people telling stories to each other, And then the other person is asking those very, pertinent questions in the story of how the person, how the cat must have felt, or how the character that you're trying to build in the story would relate to certain things. It'll add to that deeper metacognition that we are talking about. All
Yes,
of you
yes.
are doing such wonderful things, but it's just that little how do I say, the tadka is something that we would need to give in. And of course, it should suit you what you're doing. And as you just very rightly pointed out, that metacognition skills will increase their higher order thinking, which is what I'm coming to in the next bit. So it can help students manage their feelings and boost self-esteem, which is what, again, during the pandemic, as all of us are feeling that angst of the children, that they feel frustrated, they look at the negative talk that they start to do. Another thing that we need to look at is to build resilience. It's okay to fail. It's okay that this is not working. It's okay to seek help. It's okay to understand that I did not do it well. What do I need to do to go ahead? Is my goal 5? Okay. Do I want to achieve a 7? Do I want to achieve 100? Where do I want to place myself? So that will come through, again, the metacognition, which is something that we've done already. I am feeling, I am thinking, I am seeing, I am wondering, and I am noticing. If these were the few things that you would talk about in the storytelling that you were saying, this would just add that little flavor of metacognition. If you would give this as the root or the tree, whatever, these are the 5 big questions that you give to the student. They learn how to learn in the best manner possible. They are addressing the brain directly. And that is what we've understood, that the growth mindset, the self-awareness, reaching out to within, is what the metacognitive process is all about. So just remember these 5 big good questions that will help you dig deeper. And as was said by Jasmine very truly, that let's not teach children how to think, but let's teach children, how to think and not what to think. As I said, the internet is telling them enough. They have a lot of exposure. So instead of saying what to think, let's try to push them into how to think. And this is where I am taking you, what I do with my students in the process of how to think. Please keep telling me if you continue to see the screen, because I am feeling that I might miss out. This will take you to a Padlet. Is everyone seeing this Padlet? It's loading.
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. All right. So this is what I did with my grade 10 students after they had finished the syllabus. So I am in an IB school, International Baccalaureate School. We have grade 9 and 10 taking the exams together. So after their grade 10, exams, mock exams in January, this is what the grade 10 students of integrated humanities, which is social studies, this is what they wrote. So if you just take some time and take yourselves through it, what do you remember most from the previous term? And I have about 25 kids. So each one of them have put down their thoughts underneath the other, and it's all here. For me as a teacher also, it's helping me take them through this reflective process. It's helping them setting their goals, as you will see when I take you to the next slide. So remember what worked best from the previous term. I'm not talking of the complete year yet. What worked well for you, and what you have learned, what did work well, what could you have focused? There is no way on how the teaching went. It's only the ownership is on the student. You, it has to be you. And then please confirm if you can see this. I think you should be able to. This is a slide. This is a Google Doc that I give them for the complete syllabus. of grade 9 and 10. I put it down into the chapter number, topic. We have something called the global context, and whatever the content is, you're taking some case studies. You're looking at examples from the real life situation, which is the sustainable development goals. You can put down your dates and data, whatever you want. There are connections between 2 to 3 chapters that you can establish because the syllabus is too much. So this, the children maintain, each and every child is supposed to maintain, and they have to have their ownership of it, not me. Let me just go back to that slide. So what happens is when they have to say, ma'am, we are doing this and we are not doing that. What is this? Why don't I see that? Okay, sure. Yeah. I missed the link for the Padlet. Just, I'm so sorry. Give me a minute. Yeah. So this is the process. Whether you've completed this or not. Now, I am not going to check whether you've completed it or not. And these are grade 10 children. They are result oriented. They have to do it. Here also, if you see, not all 25 have filled up. So these are few children who have done it and they are saying, I was not able to complete this table. I have to still fill some of it. I have completed most of it. No, I didn't complete it. I filled most of it and I have completed it. Then how can the teacher help? At this point in time, because we were still in the middle of the exam, none of them felt that the teacher could help. And now this was done in, if you see, 2 months back. Now, after having gone through our sessions, I'll tell you what I did with all of this data, so you understand what worked well and what did not. Study groups. I asked them, do you want study groups? Based on all of this, do you want study groups? And you'll be surprised, out of my 25 children, 90% of them joined study groups, which were sometimes after school, sometimes during school, sometimes the break, whatever. And since we were online, so things were a little easier for us. I'll just show you how our study groups worked. That's called the overview document. So this is how the document after filling is. Every unit, all connections between, big ideas. See, if you see, connected to which chapter. Chapter numbers 1, 4, and 8 are connected. What is the big idea? What is the big learning that I'm taking from here? What is the content? And what is the sustainable development goal, which will give it the... So in social studies, they need to have connections with the real world, isn't it? We need to keep bringing them back to the real world. So this is how that worked well for me, to have them reflect on that. And after that finished this task, few of them who were the higher order students, I had given them the mastery grid. That means anybody who is at the higher order level, to give them the hot questions. And they start with the basic questions. Why is Industrial Revolution important? How did it start? And it goes on, what effects did it have on the world? And I'm giving them feedback here, if you can see that. Continuously, how did it happen? Very basic question again. So we keep adding up the question bank. Then it goes a little more difficult. How is it different from United States and the UK? We also add case studies of agricultural revolution leading up to the industrial revolution. Or sometimes children want to do Japan's case study, and so we allow them to take up any case study. How did any one invention help the Industrial Revolution? And that's their case study again coming out. Then bringing on the higher order, how did immigration affect industrialization in the United States? And it goes on. They have to create their own research question. They will go on, and then I'm going to give. So it's just going on. This is a process that has gone on throughout. From November, if you see, this started, and this child took her exam in the month of April. So from November to April, this grade 10 student had actually mastered the topics. Taking you back. And then how the goal setting will happen. So what we did was, from where the students were, we took them into understanding what is, and of course, as I said, that we do not have, like you all are getting trained, we also got ourselves trained. We as teachers were trained, and then we went on with taking the students through. We took them through the teaching learning skills, and learning how to learn was the basic idea. When we trained ourselves, then we put the students onto that. So each student also was encouraged to have their own e-portfolio and the goals that they set up. So very specific goals coming from their marking scheme, how they are going to get marked, whether how will I follow the goal every fortnight, whether I will reflect periodically, how will I follow an action plan. This we are not maintaining in any case. This is being maintained by every student independently. And we are not responsible for them filling this up. We are responsible just to take them through the process of, okay, so this is the skill that you think you're not at. How do you improve that skill? What is the strategy that you think you will be able to apply to? And what evidence are you going to give me that by the end of 2 months, I will be able to answer this question? I will be able to answer questions based on, let's say, water. I'll be able to answer questions on matter. I'll be able to answer questions in maths and probability. I'll be able to look at the physics numericals. Or I will be able to answer these lengthy essay type questions in whichever subject. I'll be able to write better. We are looking at only the skills on what the child will be able to gain and setting those goals. I'm just going to leave the screen on for just 30 seconds so you all can see. We are looking at the skills that the child needs to. We are looking at how the child will look at that skill and how he or she will develop that skill. The ownership is not on the teacher. The ownership is on the student. So if we are, like you all said, that learning objectives, to put them down is a must. Once they put them down, then from there, all of this, what you're seeing right now, becomes very clear and visible that, okay, this was supposed to be, this was the learning outcome. However, it did not get fulfilled because I did not do this. Had I done this, this would have worked better for me. So we make sure that every child in the class has this goal setting sheet, which will lead to the child's confidence in class and also establish their level of engagement, their deeper learning process. The teacher also then gets more interested in the learning and teaching process of the child. He can also identify the higher order people, give them those specific kind of tasks. Another thing that then we do is, after they have set their goals, they share their goals on a certain day with the teacher. That's me sitting in the backdrop. Teacher sitting in the backdrop, very far away from the happy space that the child shares with the parent and the family member, shares the goals that this is what I did for math. This did not work too well. And this is what worked very, very well. Further on, I need your help for this. Dad, you can do this. Brother, you can do this. And the teacher is making notes of the process of what is transpiring. And we visit this, we have this kind of a session, minimum once a year, once a term. so that once the child goes to the next year, the child has set their own goals. It's a long drawn process, but it is happening for every child on their own. The teacher is not responsible for this, but it becomes organically a part of the system when we get into the metacognitive zone of it. So this is where I am sending them the assignment, that this is the assignment. I set Friday challenges. It's up to you. It's up to who takes that challenge. As I said, it's not for me to ensure that every child will take it. I am seeing you do well, and I saw from your sheet that this is where you wanted me to take help, wanted me to give you help. So I have set this assignment for these two people only. Do you want to take it? It's up to you. It's not a mandate. Every Friday, I will set out challenges for the entire class or for the specifics to children, depending on what they want, not on what I think they want, but what they want to learn from. That's the Friday challenge. So anyone might do this. However, this question has been put down as revision plan for Lavanya and Kaisha, but anybody can do this. It's up to you. And this goes out every Friday. It just takes me 2.5 to 3 minutes to put down a question that this is a Friday challenge. The child does not have to spend more than 10 minutes on the answer. And you will see that ownership, that, okay, it's not a mandate, but I feel that I want to do it. I might like this teacher, so I'm doing it. I might like her subject, so I'm doing it. I like the way that the teacher is teaching, so I'm doing it. It is enhancing their skill to think deeper, to engage deeper with the content, and develop those very necessary skill metacognition that we need to have them develop. This is what I've just discussed, the entire thing: goal-oriented, active studying, meaningful and memorable studying, explain to understand, and self-monitoring. I will just see the time. Yeah, so I'm committed to end on time. I will just share this. How do I share this, Vidya, again? This is the Jamboard. I just wanted to show you all something which works very well again as a reflective practice. You all have started, your students have started coming to school, is it?
The higher classes have,
okay,
but not the entire school. Yeah.
Okay, so this app, like we used the Padlet, we saw the Menti. I'm sure that you all are using this. I have a feeling that some of you would know the Jamboard also, but I'm just going to take you through it. So what I'll do is I'll send this link to Vidya, and ma'am can probably share it with you all, and you all can fill it up. What you need to do is, Miss Vidya, can I share it with you on your WhatsApp? Maybe then you can.
Absolutely. Yeah, ma'am, please.
Just give me a minute. Or the mail doesn't work for you?
Maybe it will take time, ma'am. Nothing otherwise.
Okay, all right. I'm just trying to. No, Vidya, I've deleted my WhatsApp from my laptop, so I will.
Okay, ma'am. In that case, please mail.
I'll just mail it, yeah. I'll just show what it looks like so that I'm not wasting anyone's time here, and then I'll mail it to you also. Okay, so this is what a Jamboard looks like. Has anyone worked on it? Okay, this is a part of a collaboration for collaboration activities it encourages for Google. All right. So for you all, if you have a Google account, this works well. Otherwise, also, if you do not have your Google account, but even if one person has it and others can just add on. Now, this is the thing that I've clicked, where you will put down what works for you. What is it that is the specific strategy? What do you believe in? So I believe in goal-oriented studying. I believe in active studying. I believe in meaning and memorable, the four things that I'd given you at the end. What you need to do is just drag this here and put it. Just click on this. This is a sticky note. You can choose the color that you want. And you can start typing. Put down your name first and type what you think it is. So I've just done nothing. I've just typed my name and this is how it comes. So you will find, and you can add as number of, those pages that you want to. That's how it works.
Ma'am, have you sent?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm just doing that. I just got busy with showing. Yeah. Just give me 30 seconds. Can I be a little painful, Vidya? Can I just send it to your LinkedIn account? Is that going to work?
Okay, ma'am, please go ahead. Yeah.
I'm so sorry I'm being so troublesome. Oh, gone. It's gone there directly. Yeah. Are you able to access it?
Yes, ma'am, I've just got it. Just give me a moment.
So this, teachers, you'll find it very useful for you for any age group, even if it is a drawing, even if it is a image, anything. Children can really, really enjoy with this. It's supposed to be explored for you to know better, but it makes a very good, just a sticking board kind of thing. So it'll allow for you to save it also as a PDF and things, download it, and you can then, just like the Padlet, you can share it with your class. But it's just one of those things wherein children have fun learning, so they get tired of one tool. We give them different tools. Of course, it doesn't enhance learning in any which way, but it's just an engagement with a different tool. And with that, I will come to an end of today's session. This presentation will be with you all to share and see and explore. If you have any questions, you know where to reach me. This is what you will need. And so that's it. I will now leave the floor to whosoever is taking it on. But before that, if I can just have any questions, if anyone has. Jasmine, I'm sorry, I'm cutting you. If anybody has any questions or anything that you want to add on, it'll be good.
Excuse me, ma'am. Aprajita,
Yes.
ma'am.
Sure.
Actually, this is a link is asking for access. So is it given to everyone or is it asking me only, ma'am? I just want to confirm.
Maybe it needs a sign in.
Yeah, it's asking me also the same thing.
Maybe it needs a sign in. That's what I said, because sometimes if you're not on Google, it doesn't allow you to sign in. But it'll be worth exploring. It's called Jamboard.
No, that's already we are signed in, ma'am.
In the Google?
Yes, ma'am.
So maybe I know, because from my end, it's absolutely functional. I've had people collaborate and put in their information. Let me just see. No, it says anyone with the link.
Ma'am, it says the owner will receive an email notification for the person requesting access.
Not from my end. So anyway, let's not waste our time over this. You all know how to function it. This is something that you should operate to have an interactive session. This probably is one of those Google things wherein everything is, has to be the setting thing. While from my end, it's I see all clarity, but I don't know where it is causing the jamming. See, it's if you can see my board, it says share. Anyone with the internet can edit. That's the option that I've set it at.
I guess that was a little copying error, I guess, ma'am. I think when I copied your link, it took me to the Google Slides. That's why probably it is asking for access. I think I've now placed the right one.
Okay.
They are now jamboard.google.com.
Is that working now, teachers?
Yes,
Is that
Vidya,
taking
now
you to
it's
the sample?
yes, Vidya. Yes, Vidya, now it's
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Vidya, in any case, I would, leave the presentation with you for the school to share it the way they want to, if they want to. And plus, of course, this Jamboard is there, however.
Sure, ma'am. The link is already with me anyways.
Yeah, sure. Any questions, anybody?
yeah, Jasmine, you can continue now.
Thank you.
Yeah. Gratitude is the fairest blossom which springs from the soul and is the healthiest of all human emotions. So I, on behalf of RFS English Medium team, express my heartfelt gratitude to you, ma'am, for enriching us with the metacognitive tools and strategies to develop student-teacher metacognition. And thank you for making us realize, ma'am, that it's really time to think about our thinking, what strategies are we using, and how are they working? Like, few takeaways of yours are just making us ponder upon that, are we working with the best, or we are still into the process of what works best in the scenario to explore. Make them capable thinkers to acquire, retain, and transfer the learning, the awareness of learning ladder. Your takeaways, I have a list of takeaway, ma'am, and it's going to be really a great journey ahead for us to implement all this in our teaching ahead. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for making us such an enriching session and an interactive session as well. Yes, of course.
Thank you, Jasmine. I'm little apologetic for pushing people to talk, but I'm sorry. I'm just like that. I need to hear, people, and also the kind of things and the responses that I got from the participants was really nice. There's so much that the school is doing. It's really, really encouraging for me to be participating and to be with you all. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Honor is all ours, ma'am. Thank you so much. I take this opportunity, teachers, my dear teachers, to make an announcement. Just before the meeting started, our Honorable Principal Sir announced, gave us it was a motivational announcement, teacher, that the teachers attending both these sessions, all the 7 days, both these sessions for our professional development sessions offline, online, all the 7 days are going to be appreciated, acknowledged by beautiful design certificates So yes, cheers for that, teachers. This is what our transformational leader, motivational leader we have with us, our honorable principal sir. So let's gear up, teachers, and it's a great opportunity, golden opportunity for us to get one more feather to be added in our portfolio. So let's gear up and join the marathon of 7 days, online, offline marathon, and we are going to achieve that certificate for sure. Yes. To lead us ahead, to sail us ahead in the session, I now request, I now call upon charming Miss Shalini Kumar to please take us ahead, lead us ahead. Over to you, Shalini ma'am.
Yeah, Jasmine ma'am, before we proceed to the next session, Aprachita ma'am, let me sincerely register my thanks to you because we just connected through the LinkedIn and you were all ready for us. Very enthusiastic, my dear teachers, to come up and take a session with us because I've been observing ma'am in multiple sessions, even in the Microsoft or wherever, no, through the LinkedIn, she has been very active and following ma'am. It was so inspiring to have her here with so much of knowledge and seamlessly she keeps shifting from one tab to the other tab. She's so technologically sound and the kind of projects she takes up with children, that's the outreach programs and the global issues she addresses along with her children is really inspiring. And ma'am, I think we have just begun. I think it's slowly getting assimilated into our system. So I guess teachers will definitely take it forward. Thank you so much for being with us. I think.
Thank you, Vidya. Thank you. Thank you for tracking me down and giving me this one. I really loved interacting today. Thank you so much. I'll take your leave now.
Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Teachers, one more announcement. As Jasmine was announcing about the certificate, so there were 91 teachers and now I see only 80. So please, teachers, don't leave the opportunity. This is a time to learn. You are sitting on your bed and attending the session. So please be with us. It is a 7-day marathon session. Please be with us. So lot of next is as we have the core values. So I think everybody has to work on all these core values so that we attend this, make the 7-day series a successful series in our school. So teachers, please, once you log in, please don't log off. Thank you.
I think Sandhya ma'am, can we have this maybe 15 minutes break and we please do not leave the session, teachers. 4 o'clock we'll begin our next round. That's only for the first day. Kindly bear with us. Definitely we understand that the first day is going way too long for all of us. It's the same for us also. The organizing committee is also very alert and vigilant. So it's quite a long day for us too. We do understand the pain. So if I think all of you can please hold on to the MST, keep the cameras and audios off, and take a small stroll, come back at 4 sharp. Right, Sandhya ma'am?
Vidya, that means it's a 20 minutes break. It is 3:40 at present. So it will be a 20 minutes
before
break.
4, let's come back before 4. 5 minutes.
Yeah, let's start at 4. Teachers, please be there. You can have your tea and come back again. Thank you so much. Thank